Good afternoon and welcome to the WebEx session, How Should Tax Department Help Businesses in COVID-19 Times? The session will be presented by my colleagues Nishith Desai, Rajesh Simon, Parul Jain, Shipra Padi and Ashish Sudani. Please note that this session will be in listen-only mode and will last for about 60 minutes, of which first 30 to 40 minutes will be spent on panel discussion. The remaining time will be available for question and answers. Requesting all the participants to be on mute mode for the session. You can post your questions in the chat window while the panel discussion is on. The moderator will queue up the questions for the speakers accordingly. Should you need any assistance during the conference call, you can use the chat option. Do note that this conference is being recorded. I now welcome our session presenters. Nishith Desai, founder, Nishith Desai Associates. Rajesh Simon, co-heads the tax practice at NDA's Mumbai office. He represents clients in a wide range of sectors with a special focus on complex cross-border tax and corporate structuring transactions. He has significant experience advising clients on tax issues relating to mergers and acquisitions. Parul Jain co-heads the tax practice at NDA's Delhi office. Shipra Padi focuses on tax advisory and transactional tax matters, especially in the cross-border space. Ashish Sudani focuses on globalization and externalization of corporate transactions and regularly represents clients before various forums, including tribunals, various high courts, and Supreme Court of India in relation to disputes on international tax. Over to you, Mr. Desai.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone on the call and on WebEx for joining this morning. First of all, our hearts go out to all the people who have suffered as a result of COVID-19, and our sympathies are with them. It's very important subject today, and at the same time, I think we have to see how can we bring back some vigor in the system, and how can our tax department play some role at this critical juncture. As you all know, that when all businesses are making profit, when all businesses are prospering, obviously they are expected to pay tax. But when the things go bad, obvious question arises is that we pay taxes when we are prosperous. At least when we are in difficulty, can tax department help us? It is understandable that government or tax department would say that we don't have money. But I think there are ways to deal with those situations, and a number of reliefs can be granted. First of all, there must be, where would we find liquidity? When the revenue streams have stopped, businesses are closed. So when the revenues stop, and at the same time, the businesses to continue to pay some operational expenses or some loans and capital expenses and stuff like that, we have to have some mechanism to solve business problem. If we solve business problem, as soon as this pandemic is over, I'm sure everybody will be back with double the speed, and I'm sure that industry will also appreciate help from tax department. Number of things can be done. What can be done, right? That's the next question. What can be done? There are some simple steps government take. First is advance tax that is payable by the companies or the businesses or the other people. I think that could be provided deferral. Number one. And I understand that for TDS and some other kind of stuff, deferment has been allowed, but there is an interest of 9%. Now, 9% is still draconian in today's world because this is a non-tax deductible interest, number one. So it's almost 12% or 14%. I don't know what much be the exact number, but I think this is something too harsh still. And it is very important that, tax deferral should be permitted without any interest. And whatever base can be done, that should be done by the government. Second thing is people have to work from remote places, and therefore any tool that is needed to allow people to work from home, there should be 100% deduction, not 60%, 40%, whatever it is. So today is a time when we are asking people to stay at home in a lockdown condition. There has to be a mechanism to continue at least some degree of productivity. Initially, it may be 10, 20%. As time goes by, it will increase 30, 40%, 50, 70, And in future also, we can create a culture of virtual organization in the country so that there is less stress on the roads, on gas, on energy, on, number of things that go along with, including the travel time. So we should encourage businesses to go virtual. And, we are going virtual and we'll continue to remain virtual about 80, 20%. That's a rule that we have broadly ourselves set out for ourselves. So it is very important that government grants some kind of additional, or not, I would not say, depreciation is basically a normal charge. There is no incentive. It is not something called, some extra gratis that is being done. Depreciation is a regular charge. In many countries, depreciation is available 100% the very first year. Okay, in India, we have very different rates for year to year to year to year. But you have an option in some countries to write off any capital expenditure in 1 year or over a period of time. But if you can't do that, at least today, as far as remote, devices are concerned, companies and businesses should be encouraged to provide those things to the employees so that they can work efficiently from the home. And we all want to see that, companies are able to pay. So these are, there are a number of things. Number of countries have, for example, given some loans at subsidized rate. RBI has reduced, I understand, rates by 0.75 or BPS. And, some measures are being taken. We understand. We'll be discussing that in the course of the day, in the course of the session. But, you can do a lot of those kind of things. Another important thing perhaps we can consider is carry backward of losses. In a number of countries, we have found that, carry backward is permitted. And what does carry backward means? We have a concept of carry forward. Now, when businesses are prosperous, when businesses are doing good, you tax them to the best possible extent. But when businesses go down and losses begin to get suffered, how does business survive, So carry backward of losses should be immediately introduced as a concept, And another thing is there are two types of situations. One is compliance related procedural relaxations, and second is substantive law. What I spoke are more of substantive law changes, but on a procedural side, I think for all kind of compliances, at least to start with, 3 to 6 months extension should be granted without any consequence whatsoever. Okay, and that would be a great demonstration of government sympathy towards the businesses. And so we'll be discussing those aspects in the course of the session. But let me now, take it up to Parul, maybe. And Parul, what are the tax measures that India has introduced till date? I think some announcements were made by Finance Minister and some other steps have been taken. Can you just give a little summary of what has happened and what's happening currently? And then we'll turn to Rajesh, Go ahead.